The oldest, most mysterious, and most sinister alchemist family, the Perseid family. In their pursuit of understanding the laws of the universe and finding the method to achieve divinity through the physical form, these mad alchemists once unleashed terrifying biochemical disasters across the land. Making monsters that evolved into even stronger monsters, they destroyed countless cities. Even small insect-like mosquitoes evolved into something so powerful that they could dry humans in one bite. However, 300 years ago, for some unknown reason, the family started to decline. After 300 years, our MC Isao Perseid, the most talented and genius descendant of the family, the greatest alchemist of the century, swears to create a biochemical weapon that rivals the gods and restore the family's glory. And today is the day he is going to unleash his final calamity. He worked for 400 days to create it with relentless effort. He also has an assistant, a gray rat biochemical modification. First assistant, Cheese. They start to add some science stuff to make that final calamity even stronger. The science stuff that we don't need to know. Finally, the time has come to open the tank and feast his eyes on his beautiful creation. Isao is super excited to see his greatest creation, the alchemical biochemical experiment that could destroy the entire world, the final calamity. And this is the final form of the final calamity. The tank opens instead of that dangerous looking form. A human-like leg appears, and a big boing, a beautiful blonde girl appears from the tank instead of that final calamity. Isao is shocked. He didn't expect things to end up like this. He gets ready to get a close look. And being so close to his experiment, he wonders if this female form is just a mimicry disguise of the final calamity. And those two big boings might not even be breasts, but energy sacs storing the energy of the final calamity. He gets ready to check the energy sacs, and judging by the touch and softness, he comes to the conclusion that it's just an ordinary human. He starts to look for the left arm of the angel of extinction that he transplanted into it, but it has now become just an ordinary arm. And the Emerald Empress's sad eye, it's gone. The inexhaustible heart improved type 1. He can't hear it either. Suddenly, Cheese tells him to be careful, and the final calamity pins him down on the ground. And seeing the blood coming out of Isao, the rat prays for Isao to rest in peace. And he will inherit the legacy of the Perseid family. And he is super sad for Isao, who is just a 15-year-old virgin, and was killed by his own creation. Isao curses him. He is not dead yet, and that blood-like thing is just an experimental, mutated fire slug blood. There is no way the greatest alchemist genius of the century is going to be killed by his own experiment. And he had added his manifested liquid soul extract into the final calamity, so there is no way his test subject can harm him in any way, and they will listen to his orders. About that liquid, the rat remembers that Isao did give him something like that, when he was drunk, and it was smelling so good that instead of adding that fluid to the final calamity, he drank it. Isao orders the final calamity to get off of him. But she is not listening to his order. Instead, she starts to lick him all over his face. Getting licked for the first time in his 15 years, he turns beet red. But he pushes her away, gets ready to go and get that purification spray before getting infected. He then puts her back in that glass tank, but it looks like the final calamity doesn't want to stay in there and wants to be with Isao. Isao is spraying the purification spray on his face, then he remembers something, starts to look for something, and finds the file of the final calamity experimental original body. The rat remembers that the girl had purple hair. Why does she have blonde hair now? And not only her hair, but her personality has also changed. 1 year ago, in Golden City, White Queen Bank, some type of gas was slowly released in the bank, and the culprits behind it are these two, a rat and a 14-year-old virgin boy. They pulled out their guns and got ready to rob the bank. Inside the bank, most people are already unconscious. One guy informs them about the owner of the bank, and they should not mess with the owner. Isao bang him with his biochemical gun and turn him into a slime. Rat also finds his favorite target, a cute child with a sweet in his hands. Rat snatches the sweet from that child. It's his favorite strawberry milk flavored. They break into the vault where the money is. After robbing the bank, they escape while singing a song. All the money they got, they are going to use it in their experiment of the final calamity, and after that, restore the prestige of the Perseid family. And become so powerful that they can order the mayor to personally pour them drinks. Suddenly, there is a sound of a gunshot, and they hide their head to avoid getting headshot, and wonders if the Safety Inspection Bureau is chasing them. And just from the sound, Isao notices that it's from a large caliber revolver. The one who shot that fire is the Golden City Safety Inspection Bureau. Lighthouse District Branch Director, and the city hero, Bullet Gentleman, Hamirk. He has shot down a girl who doesn't have one leg and one hand. It's the purple-haired girl, the final calamity original body. Isao and Rat are shocked to see the Bullet Gentleman chasing after a girl who doesn't have one leg and one hand, instead of chasing after them, who robbed the bank. The purple-haired girl is a member of an assassin group called the Hellhound Unit, and the gentleman is after her to get the assassination list. He asks her to tell him about that list, then laughs at her because they have tortured her so brutally that they have even removed her vocal cord. The girl takes something out from her back, the gentleman fires a shot at her hand, and the thing is a small teddy bear. The girl grabs him and tries to say something, but he hits her and steps on her head. However, he returns the bear to her, and shoots at it, destroying the head of the bear. Since he didn't get the list, he gets ready to take her corpse and claim some rewards. Isao comes from behind, saying he didn't expect the city hero to be a money-hungry guy. The gentleman points his gun at Isao, asking who. Isao introduces himself, saying he is the greatest alchemist genius of all time, Isao, Baron. He also introduces his right-hand doctor, Crazy Mouse, but the rat didn't like that introduction. He wants Isao to add mysterious and crazy doctor, Crazy Mouse from now on. They starts to fight because someone didn't introduce his right-hand man properly. The bullet gentleman doesn't care who they are and just orders them to leave from there. Seeing him underestimating them, they get ready to show the old man how big of a deal they are, and throw the bag of money towards the gentleman. Seeing the 2 bags full of money, he realizes that these 2 were the ones who robbed the White Queen Bank this evening. No matter who they are, bullet gentlemen get ready to shoot them if they don't leave from there, and they can just offer that money to him as a gift for sparing them. Isao also gets ready to see the elegant shooting of the Golden City's #1 sharpshooter, Bullet Gentleman. Bullet Gentleman gets ready to pull the trigger, but he is unable to pull the trigger. It's like the trigger is being jammed. But that's not it. He then notices some kind of gas coming out from the bags. He suddenly becomes weak and falls to his knees. Isao had placed a bottle of some kind of gas inside that money bag. It's some kind of powerful gas that takes effect after just 8 seconds of inhaling. It paralyzes and weakens the body. Anyways, he shoots the old man, gives him a headshot, turns that old man into a slime. Bullet Gentleman runs for his life from there. Rat gets ready to head back to the base and have some fun with the money they just robbed. Then he gets shocked to see his boss trying to help that damsel in distress. However, he is just observing her, wondering how much longer she can stay alive. Her left arm and left leg severed, wounds starting to rot, right palm pierced by a bullet, ribs nearly all broken, right eye gouged out, all her fingernails pulled out, her vocal cords intentionally burned, heart rate is erratic, signs of heart failure. Not only that, he has also detected 4 potent toxins in her bloodstream. Since she is dying, the crazy rat gets ready to leave her there and let her die peacefully there. Then he gets mad, thinking that his boss is thinking of saving her. Like hell, he is. He is a villain, the bad guy. There is no way a bad guy will save someone's life. They then leave from there with their money. Isao notices that she still has some life left in her. After that rain starts to pour down, the lady is still clinging on to that tiny strain of life, trying to get her teddy bear back. She manages to get that bear, held it close to her face and then passes out. Then someone comes there, and it's Isao. He couldn't leave a lady in trouble, or in her case, lady in the brink of dead. Next, he brought her to their base in the operating room, and Rat is mad because they are bad guys and they are saving a life. However, that's not it. Isao is not saving her, but he is going to use her as a medium for his final calamity project. She has suffered from so many emotions. These emotions will fuel her anger and help him in destroying the world. But the rat thinks that she will be difficult, because she is lacking so many things, like her arm, leg, and all. But Isao has a solution for that. He uses the Ember Angel's withered left arm on her, the Emerald Empress Sarah's right eye, the artificial heart, the endless heart modified model, and a corroded cocoon of despair fatal blood. They get ready to use her to begin and create a miracle that will destroy the world. Back in the present, Isao is confused about how his experiment changed so much. Now, they wonder what they are going to do if she turns out to be a failure. If she turns out to be a failure, Isao gets ready to dispose of her. He won't keep a failure by his side. After some time, Isao is sleeping, and there is a picture of a beautiful woman on his bedroom wall, which must be his mother's. Isao is trying to sleep, but he cannot stop thinking about that lick from his experiment. He is not able to fall asleep, so he gets ready to take a little walk inside his base, and comes to where he kept his experiment, surprised to see that she is behaving well, but notices that she is trembling. He didn't expect the final calamity to be afraid of sleeping alone at night. He tries to leave her there, thinking that it's none of his business. But then remembers something that makes him change his mind. He opens the tank and gets ready to take her to a nice place to sleep. She is happy, but the place he brought her is not his bedroom, but a place where he keeps all his dangerous monsters and experiments. Among them, there is this dangerous-looking giant dragon, a high-risk experiment subject number 8, Savage Dragon, ready to chew Isao if he gets out of that glass. And there is another giant one-eyed octopus, a high-risk experiment subject number 15, Abyss Eye, who is also hungry for Isao's blood. These two subjects are the most cheerful ones, so he leaves the final calamity in the middle room between those two dangerous monsters. And she does not like that place. She wants to be with him. Anyways, Isao has brought her to a warm place. So he leaves from there. Now he is sure that he will get a very good night's sleep. The dragon is confused, thinking why did Isao leave that weak-looking girl in such a dangerous place? However, Big Eye heard Isao calling that girl the final calamity. Dragon starts to laugh after hearing that. The dragon can't believe that this tiny human, like an ant, is the final calamity. Big Eye also laughs, saying there is no way that she is the final calamity. The girl tries to break the glass. The dragon laughs at her, and is ready to be her lackey if she manages to break that glass. Big Eye also laughs at her. It is also ready to be her pet if she manages to break that glass, but they are sure that she won't be able to do it because they were not able to do it even with their strongest magic spell. The aura around her changes after that. Her hand also changes, and the two get shocked to see that. She starts to burn the glass with her fire magic, and the glass also starts to crack. She not only managed to break the glass, but she also melted it like butter. She is also surprised to see that, and is also confused. The dragon is shocked, and so the Big Eye. They can't believe their eyes. They bow to her and are ready to be her lackey and pet from now on, also beg her to let them out. Isao is sleeping, dreaming about his mom. The rat is also sleeping. Suddenly, the red alarm starts to ring, which wakes Isao and the rat. They quickly get ready to take a look at what is going on. What's more, it's a level 4 alarm, which means a dangerous experiment must have broken out of its cell, and they are also confused because none of the monsters are strong enough to break that glass. The rat finds out that it's the dragon and the Big Eye who have broken out of their cell, and they broke out from the middle room. The rat remembers that the room was empty, so how did they manage to break through there? Isao is surprised to hear that, and he gets ready to take a look. It's his girl who is melting the glass like a butter. He is happy to see that she manifested the transplanted left arm. The rat is confused and wants an explanation. They arrive in the high-risk experimental subject observation area. The dragon and the Big Eye are wrecking that place. Isao tells them to stop if they have had enough fun by now. They both stop, and now their target is in front of them. So the dragon gets ready to finish Isao off for locking the dragon up like a lab rat. The crazy rat fires something at the dragon. It did 0 damage to the dragon, but it looks like some kind of gas bullet. The gas is a grenade filled with over 200 dragon spider eggs. It's a parasites that live on dragons and sub-dragons, feeding off dragonkind. Once infested, the host is doomed. The Big Eye is still in the game. It gets ready to attack Isao with its powerful magic. Isao gives a signal. A grenade comes right in front of that Big Eye's eye. The grenade creates a bright light that blinds the poor one-eyed octopus. It hides its eye under its tentacles, cursing Isao. Now that they have learned their lessons, Isao orders them to go back to their cages, but nah, they are not scared of him anymore, because they have their big sis with them this time. And they are sure that Isao won't stand a chance against her. They called their big sis. She came out from the shadows. The dragon and Big Eye informs her about Isao's wrongdoings, how he traps them in the cage and treats them as lab rats. She looks angry. Crazy Rat asks Isao if he has any emergency protocol to suppress the final calamity. However, there is no existing material or method that can fully suppress the final calamity for now with Isao. So they are cooked. She charges with full speed at them, and jumps on Isao. The dragon laughs, seeing that Isao was not able to do anything against his big sis. Then he gets shocked to see the final calamity all over Isao, licking him all over his face. Isao pushes her away and orders her to stop. She says something, and Isao understands what she wants to say. She doesn't want to sleep in that place, so he gets ready to take her to another place. She is happy and gets ready to give him another licking, but he stops her. Now he has taken care of their big sis, he gets ready to give some severe punishment to these two who disturb his sleep. Now the 3 of them are leaving that area. 2 of them are tired and sleepy, and Isao has put the dragon in some kind of sleeping bag as his punishment to destroy his image in the experimental area. As for the Big Eye, Isao did him wrong. Isao put some sliced onions, and some device that is stopping the poor guy from closing its eye. Next, there is a 9-headed hydra hatching in the water tank. It gets scared after seeing the final calamity there, and Isao is thinking of finding a place to let her sleep for tonight. Crazy Rat gives him a simple idea to let her sleep in his room, but Isao doesn't want an experimental subject to sleep in the same room as him. Next, some officers and guards have entered a hotel where there are dead bodies everywhere, and they are also recording about what happened in that hotel. The flesh from the dead bodies is all gone, and only their skeletons are left. The guy recording also notices something is wrong with him. He starts to cough, and after a couple of seconds, he starts to cough up blood. He has been poisoned, not only him but his whole team. Then the monster who poisoned them comes out from the shadows, and it's a beautiful monster lady. She is super hot, and this is a story in the future, Stay tuned, guys. Rat wants Disaster Girl to sleep in Isao's room because right now she only feels close to Isao, and it's safest to have her stay by Isao's side. As for her affection towards Isao, he thinks it's because of his fluid he added while he was making the final calamity, the Disaster Girl. About that, the rat informs him that he didn't add that fluid in the cultivation tank of the Disaster Girl. He drank it as wine. Now, Isao is mad. Rat tries to explain himself, and that he was drunk. Then he notices Disaster Girl playing with the 9-headed Hydra. She jumps inside the tank, grabs the poor Hydra. The poor Hydra hides itself, but it's not escaping from her. Isao orders her not to play with that Hydra baby and come out of the tank, but she is not listening to him. He grabs her leg and pulls her out of the tank. He pulls her so hard that he falls on the floor and she also falls on him, and on his face. He manages to push that heavy weight from his face and orders her not to play or enter inside that Hydra's tank. Since two lovebirds are getting all lovey-dovey, Rat gets ready to leave them there and go to sleep. But Isao scolds him more. Before leaving, Rat informs him that Disaster Girl is still a soft girl, and that Isao should treat her more gently. If he makes her go berserk, the consequences can be unimaginable. Isao doesn't think of her like, he thinks she is only an experimental subject, that's it. Poor girl starts to sneeze. Turns out she is a soft girl. She caught a cold after jumping in that Hydra's tank. Isao gets ready to let her take a bath. Now he is doing something with some kind of device. The device is a scarping-type pathogen detector, and he has already scanned her 3 times and there are still no signs of pathogen. He then orders her to take a bath, but it looks like she doesn't know how to do that. So he demonstrates her that after he leaves the room, she can take off her clothes and get in the bath, and clean herself. She understood him, and gets ready to do as he ordered, takes off her top. This surprises Isao. He covers his eyes. Then he realizes that she is just an experimental subject. He can't be embarrassed. In the eyes of the genius alchemist, experimental subjects don't have genders, so he gets ready to face this objectively. He opens his eyes, and those 2 big shiny things, it was just too much for him. He is out cold. Next, he is personally giving her a bath. After some time, she is all cleaned up. This beautiful sight. Even the great genius alchemist admits that this carbon-based shell is quite deceiving. Now that he has bathed her, he gives her a towel to dry herself off. He is not going to do that for her. He gets ready to leave from there, but he steps on a soap, and falls in the bathtub. He almost broke his head. Seeing him in pain, she comes closer to comfort him. Right at that time, the rat also comes in the bath. He has brought a collar that might help Isao with the Disaster Girl. Then he gets shocked to see the sight in front of his eyes. He quickly closes the door and tells them to carry on, but before leaving, he suggests Isao to wear the fluid protection suit for safety, and almost gets a headshot with a soap. After coming outside, he looks at his master and assures her that his young master's preferences are perfectly normal, so she doesn't need to worry about that. Now, Isao is drying her. He takes out a hairdryer. This scared the poor girl. It reminds her of some very bad memory. Her face turns pale. Isao, who is ready to dry her hair, is surprised to see that she just vanished. She is in the bathtub. He comes to check what's going on, and orders her to stop messing around, but the poor girl is trembling in fear. He is confused about what is making her so scared. Then he realizes the hairdryer. It's reminding her of the night she was hunted by the bullet gentleman. That means she still has her pre-experiment personality and memories. He sighs, thinking what a troublesome experimental subject. He then gets an idea, shows her the hairdryer. She gets even more scared. Isao pulls the trigger, and shows her that the hairdryer is not dangerous. He even goes a step ahead and blows the hairdryer in his mouth. Her face gets lit up. She starts to smile, and now she is overdoing it, and it's not stopping. If he had known this would happen, he would have just let her stay afraid of the hairdryer. Okay, that's enough. But she wants to play with it. Those puffy eyes are not going to melt him. He puts the hairdryer in the drawer and locks the drawer. If she behaves, he's going to let her play with it in the future. But for now, he orders her to sleep immediately. Now the question is, where is she sleeping? He is not going to let her sleep in his bed after all. He is the genius alchemist and she is an experimental subject. But wait, what? She is already on his bed under his blanket. He wakes her up and tells her that his bed is off limits. He explains to her why she can't sleep in his bed because she is an experimental subject, so he orders her to sleep on the floor. Now that it's been settled, he gets ready to sleep, but it still feels dangerous. She hasn't shown any aggression towards him so far, but if she goes berserk in the middle of the night, it will be trouble for him. He takes a look at her. She is sleeping soundly on the floor. After some time, she is making some kind of noises. It's disturbing him. He orders her to sleep and not make any sound. She stops making those noises. After some time she starts to make the noises again, which angers Isao. Gets ready to give her a good scold, then notices she is shivering. What do you expect? She is sleeping on the floor without a blanket. Next, Rat is sleeping after reading his interesting book. Bro must have broken the No Nut November rule. Isao has come there to wake him up, but the rat is not waking up. So Isao brings some kind of insect, abak food stench bug close to Rat's nose. The bug does its thing. It stings so bad that the rat is puking in a pot. He is mad for waking him up like that, and Isao is there to get a blanket from him. After hearing Isao, Rat starts to tease him because he is a virgin, and Isao is not sharing his own blanket because the experimental subject might carry some pathogen. And the rat is mad because Isao has 6 sets of bedding, and he is not going to give even one to his experimental subject. Well, that's because Monday and Sunday are cyclical days of the week, so he uses his Ouroboros set, symbolizing infinite cycles. Tuesday and Wednesday are dedicated to deepening his alchemical research, so he uses an alchemical symbol set, which puts him in the mindset of swimming in the sea of alchemical knowledge. Thursday is for purifying the elixir of life, Azoth. Since the purified Azoth is purple, he uses his solid purple set. And, more importantly, purple was his mom's favorite color. Friday is for his favorite TV show, Criminal Artistry. That's when he uses his officially licensed Jack of Hearts bedding. And Saturday, the rat also knows that to motivate himself to create the ultimate bioweapon, Disaster Girl. He printed her project form onto the blanket. And that's exactly why the rat thinks that it's best for the Disaster Girl to have that bed set. She will be using her own design blanket. This shocked the poor guy. He lost this battle. Anyways, now he is ready to give that girl her own bed set, the Saturday one. He gives her that bed set, also makes her bed, and orders her not to drool on it, no wrinkling it, and absolutely no rolling around and twisting it into a tube, because that the blanket her master gift her, one of his favorite bed set. She quickly falls asleep. As for Isao, he is having dark circle under his eyes, and is thinking of putting an anti-riot collar. He then falls asleep. And after some time, the girl is not in her bed. Where did she go? Her eyes have been activated and she is thinking of doing something to Isao. Next morning, the alarm goes on and it's a crow alarm clock, shouting the greatest alchemist of the century, Iso, wake up. Isao wakes up with a dark circle under his eye, and someone's hand is on his chest, and a warm breath next to his ears. He is shocked to see Disaster Girl on him. However, looking at her like this, there isn't even a hint of the Disaster Girl she's supposed to be. The rat comes to wake him up. Isao quickly hides her under the blanket. Rat asks him about the Disaster Girl. Isao tells him that he doesn't know. This shocked the rat because if she sneaks into the high-risk experimental zone, it will be a disaster. With a serious look, he orders the rat to go to the monitoring room and find where she is. The rat gets ready to do that. Then he notices that Isao's blanket. Something is squirming. He informs Isao about that moving blanket. However, Isao doesn't want him to find out what's inside that blanket. Disaster Girl comes out from the blanket. She is sweating and panting. The cat is out of the bag. Isao comes clean and informs the rat that she snuck up last night. But, oh boy, the rat is not going to believe that now. But the rat is proud of his young master. His young master is going through puberty, so he understands his young master's needs. Isao sprays that stench bug again. Poor rat curses him. Isao orders him to get ready because they are going to do full testing of the Disaster Girl. Next, in the experimental testing zone, basic physical data collection room. First test, height measurement. She is 171 centimeters tall. Rat makes fun of Isao because to kiss her, he will have to stand on his tiptoes because she is 11 centimeters taller than him. However, Isao is still growing. Next is weight measurement. She is 64 kilograms. This surprises Isao because her left arm, the Ash Angel's left arm, weighs more than 64 kilograms, added with the high-density cocoon of despair fatal blood. He is sure that she should weigh at least 800 kilograms. Next is her chest measurement, and it's a perfect 36D. He gets scolded by Isao for measuring irrelevant data. Next up is lung capacity. Isao demonstrates her how to do that. Now it's her turn. She takes a deep breath, holds it in, grabs Isao's head, and we know what's coming up next. Yep, she blows in him to test both of their lung capacity. She was so aggressive that they fall on the table. The rat comes in asking if they are done with the test, and sees this scene, and he is getting used to this now. The girl is happy. She looks like she has achieved something great, and sad because the machine didn't go up. Isao is cleaning his mouth, afraid of getting infected, while the rat is making fun of him, and he flashes that water on the rat for making fun of him. Anyways, they continue with their testing, and it's now a flexibility test, and her flexibility rating is D, within normal human range. Next, a 50-meter sprint, and she completed it under 6.2 seconds, within normal human range. Hand grip, 51 kilograms, within normal human range. Based on those physical stats, she's no different from an ordinary human. Rat thinks that her real powers may come out when she is in combat mode, so Isao gets ready to let her into combat mode, and he is going to find the most bloodthirsty experimental subject they have and lock them in a room with her. And one of his bloodthirsty experimental subject is this beautiful lady who is obsessed with Isao. She is ultra-high-risk subject 0. The rat thinks that it's too dangerous and they should start with a small and weak subject first, like this prairie rabbit, and if they are starting with a weak subject, then Isao thinks the lab mice will be the best. Whoa, wait, the rat is not going to let him do that. He will not allow any rodents in the experiments. Isao tells him that even though they're both rodents, they are not the same species as cheese rat. He is a sewer rat, after all. They get ready to try with the rabbit to trigger her fighting instinct. She snatches the rabbit from his hand, and starts to do something with it. They both didn't expect that the rabbit could have sparked her bloodthirsty instincts. However, that was not the case. She is just enjoying this cute, fluffy rabbit. They didn't see this coming. Isao gets an idea, takes out some kind of red injection, and injects it into the rabbit. The injection is a newly upgraded Frenzy Evolution number 6. Its mutation speed is incredibly fast. The rabbit starts to mutate and in a couple of seconds, it turns into a giant, monstrous rabbit. Now, Isao is sure that she will definitely awaken her real power and fight with that rabbit. The rabbit charges at her. The rat asks Isao to place a bet on whether she will dodge or take that punch head on. And the stake is cleaning the base for a week. Rat bets that she will dodge, and Isao bets that she will take it. The rabbit throws its huge punch at her and even shatters the ground, and they all get confused because she is not there. Where did she go? The rabbit notices something moving under its fur. And voila, it's her. This surprises the rabbit. It falls on the ground. She starts to cuddle and play with it again. They didn't expect this outcome. Next, they are going to the ultra-high-risk restricted zone. The rat tells him to think it through because if they throw her against the ultra-high-risk subject 0 right now and she dies, what are they going to do? If she dies, it will just prove that she's a failure. They come outside the room of ultra-high-risk subject 0. Both of them put their masks on, and Isao has put a collar on the disaster girl. Rat still tells him to think once again because they have invested so much of their best transplant into the disaster girl. If anything goes wrong, they will lose everything. And he is sure that Subject 0 will go for the kill against the disaster girl. Isao also wants her to go for the kill so that the disaster girl can test the scent of death. Otherwise, the disaster girl will never learn to transform into the true final disaster. They have failed so many times, he has had enough. She pats his head as if saying that she will transform into the final disaster. He grabs her hand and informs her that she was created for one purpose only, to become the ultimate bioweapon that will help him conquer the world. So she will have to unleash her full power when going up against Subject 0. Inside the room, someone is singing a song of Isao, a beautiful, hot monster who is obsessed with Isao. She is an ultra-high-risk Subject 0, Dark Plague Beast, Lucille. Isao calls her name. She is surprised to hear that voice. Isao has come to see her. She comes down from her web, saying that it's been 1,322 days, and he finally couldn't resist coming to see her. She is happy, surprised, excited, and experiencing all the love emotions all together. Isao informs her that he has managed to create his final disaster, and she is no longer his strongest experimental subject. She is shocked to hear that, and gets angry because she doesn't want anyone else to be Isao's strongest subject than her. She wants to be his number 1 and remain number 1. Isao orders the rat to bring Disaster Girl inside. However, the rat didn't need to do that. She just jumped inside and hugged him. This makes Lucille so mad that a girl other than her is hugging her Isao in front of her. This scared Disaster Girl a little. Isao informs Lucille that this girl is the final disaster, the strongest subject he has ever created. And if Lucille wants to reclaim her title as the strongest experiment subject, defeat the final disaster, and prove it to Isao. Lucille was so mad that she was biting her lips, but after hearing his words, she smiles. And if she defeats the final disaster, she wants Isao to spend an entire day with her inside that cage. Isao agrees with her demands. She also puts another demand that let her cuddle him while they sleep, but he didn't agree to that. But she promises that she will destroy his new experiment and make him hers. Now, Isao gets ready to leave from there and leave the two ladies in there. He tells Disaster Girl that she will have to unleash her real power this time or she might really die. If Lucille kills her, that means she is nothing but a failure, and he won't step in to save her. He let go of that leash and closes the door. Poor girl tries to open it. Isao smiles, saying that this is the right way he should treat his experiment subjects. Finally, everything is back on track. He comes to the monitoring room where Rat is already monitoring something. Rat then opens Lucille's cage. Lucille comes outside, stretching her body. The camera turns toward her, and she looks at it, and tells Isao to get ready for the most spectacular carnage. To enjoy the show, Rat gives him some snacks, but he is not eating them because it has cheese in it. Rat is shocked. His young master never used to complain about cheese-flavored chips before. To cheer his young master, Rat informs him that Lucille is wearing an alchemy matrix suppression collar. If she is about to kill Disaster Girl, he will activate the collar, and it will completely neutralize the activity of her dark plague virus, and asks if he is ready for another bet. Rat bets on Lucille, and if he wins the bet, he will get control of the TV remote for a whole week. Isao bets on Disaster Girl because if she doesn't win, she will die. Lucille informs the Disaster Girl to stop trying because the door won't open. She is surprised to see that Disaster Girl doesn't even have the slightest will to fight. But she doesn't care. Once she takes her out, she will get to spend time with her little Isao. Lucille gets ready to attack her. However, Disaster Girl grabs her hand before she can even notice. She's also shocked to see that. Isao and Rat are also shocked, and wonder if the Disaster Girl has entered her combat mode after sensing Lucille's killing intent. Now they are happy to see the final disaster finally getting serious. But wait, she grabs Lucille's hand to bring her to the door, and helps her open the door. The two didn't see that coming. Lucille is mad because that girl is expecting her to help her open the door. She starts to laugh and asks Isao if this stupid girl is his strongest subject. She grabs Disaster Girl's hand and gets ready to help her get out of that place, and starts to spread her virus in Disaster Girl's body. She can quickly get out from there once she dies from that virus. She starts to make fun of the ultimate weapon for being poisoned just like that. She then tells the Disaster Girl that you better remember this. Little Izo's strongest bioweapon will always be her and only her. Ultra high risk subject 0. The system shows how much damage Disaster Girl has suffered. Rat is shocked to see that the dark plague virus is spreading through Disaster Girl's epithelial cells, infecting her entire body, blood, flesh, and organs. Isao is shocked to hear that, because the despair cocoon blood cells kill any pathogens that try to infect them, including Lucille's dark plague virus. However, the Disaster Girl's condition is getting worse, and Lucille is laughing after seeing the strongest subject like that. The Rat suggests stopping the experiment, but Isao stops him because the data is only showing that her organs are being infected, but she is nowhere near the fatal threshold. He is still in the hope that she might awaken once she experiences near-death experience. On the other hand, Lucille is making fun of the Disaster Girl in front of the camera. Rat is panicking because the virus has already infected 70% of her cells. However, Isao still doesn't want to stop. Seeing that Isao is not stopping her, and is not that attached to the girl, Lucille gets ready to do something. She spreads more of her virus and gets ready to enjoy her meal. She tastes her meal and it's delicious even though it's weak. She starts the ritual to feast on her delicious meal. The virus has already infected 90% of her cells. Rat gets ready to activate the collar. Isao stops him once again. Now Rat is mad because if this goes on, she will be devoured by Lucille. Isao stopped him because his goal is bigger than one experiment, and both the final disaster and Lucille are merely tools to achieve that ambition. Then he hears a word master, which is not that clear, and it's Disaster Girl, calling for her master. Rat is shocked to see that Disaster Girl just spoke. Well, looks like Isao had given her a quick lesson last night. Last night, she tried to climb into Isao's bed, and Isao told her to call him master, then only he would let her sleep on the bed with him for 30 minutes. Even though her vocal cords were burned in the past, the Azoth solution Isao used healed her completely, restoring all her injuries, including her vocal cords. So if she can't speak now, there's only one reason her vocal cords were damaged for so long that she has forgotten how to speak. He told her to repeat after him and called him master. She tried, but only "ah" sound came out of her mouth. It looks like last night she slept on the floor. She practiced that word before she fell asleep, and now she is calling for her master. On the other hand, Lucille is ready to start her meal, but her collar gets activated. She drops Disaster Girl, and it also looks like she is in great pain. And her face, it gives the impression of being betrayed by her little Isao. And it was Isao who activated that collar. Rat is surprised to see that it was Isao who stopped the experiment. And he stops it because the implants are priceless. It'd be a waste if Lucille ate them, not because Disaster Girl called him master. He gets ready to go down and get that Disaster Girl of his. He comes in the room and she is happy to see her master in there. He tells her to stop calling him that because she doesn't deserve it. He picks her up, gets ready to put her in the confinement, and didn't expect the 64 kilograms to be this heavy. As he was about to leave from the room, Lucille asks him, why is he treating her differently because all the previous confrontation test, even when rare experimental subjects were about to die by her hands, he never stopped the experiment. But why is he treating that failure, who is inferior to her, so differently? Isao informs her that the Disaster Girl has many critical transplanted organs. If Lucille devoured her, the final disaster experiment could never continue. If that's the case, she is fine with it. The rat is reading some kind of suspicious book. In the monitoring screen, Lucille's body temperature, which is minus 260.8 degrees, it starts to rise. The rat gets shocked to see that. He quickly informs Isao about the change in Lucille. Isao is also shocked to hear that. He looks behind. She is already healed from that cold temperature and is right in front of him. The collar is not broken. Her virus just adapted to the environment and evolved. And she did that during the 1,000+ days she was locked in the chamber. She kept repeatedly, deliberately triggering the extreme cold matrix of the suppression collar. And just a week ago, the dark cells in her body that couldn't withstand the cold have all been iteratively eliminated. Now she has completely evolved cold resistance. Isao remains calm and gets ready to fulfill her reward, that which is to spend one day with her. But one day is not enough anymore. She removes his mask, touches his face with her virus hand. Her dark plague virus does the full body invasion. Isao's condition starts to change. Lucille is happy because she has finally entered his body and now she can even feel the activity of every single one of his cells. Rat is getting worried after seeing his young master like that. She tells him not to worry and that the virus is fully under her control. They won't harm Isao. There is no way that she will harm her little Isao. Then she notices something inside Isao's body. There is another entity in his cell. Final Disaster's salivary amylase. Lucille is mad to find out that she grabs poor Disaster Girl's neck, asking how dared she kissed her little Isao. Poor Rat is confused, thinking what to do because the situation just escalated. Lucille is so mad at Disaster Girl because her saliva was already in Isao's than hers. Lucille gets ready to invade every one of Disaster Girl's nerve cells and make her feel the ultimate agony of a fate worse than death. On the other hand, Isao is thinking of a way to stop Lucille. However, there is no other way to stop Lucille. The only way to suppress her was the collar. But it's no use now that she has evolved cold resistance. There is another one, the void substance, which can annihilate everything. But it is still in the experimental stage, and using it can be a little dangerous. It might even destroy the entire base. He wonders if there is really nothing that can suppress her. The rat informs him that there is one thing that can suppress her. And it's Isao. She is super obsessed with him. He can use that as leverage. Lucille is ready to devour the Disaster Girl. Isao calls her name, and she looks behind. He warns her to stop or he will kill himself. She is surprised to see that he is really threatening her for that useless subject. He tells her why he doesn't want Lucille to devour the Disaster Girl because her body is very important. It's the most crucial experimental asset of his family. Without these assets, he cannot conquer the world or restore his family's glory. And if he can't do that, then he doesn't have a point in living. She understood him. Isao is surprised to see that Lucille agreed so easily. He wonders if this could be a new way to control Lucille. But wait. She gets ready to help him restore his family's glory and help him in conquering the world, but after devouring the Disaster Girl. Now, Isao gets ready to use his trump card, and Rat is shocked to see that he still has a trump card, and why didn't he use it earlier? Isao shouts that if you want me to cuddle with you every night from now on, then stop. She is shocked to hear that. She quickly stops whatever she was doing and comes to Isao, saying, "Really? Really?" She is already imagining how she is going to cuddle him all night. However, she also has two additional conditions, and they are, 1. To switch places with the Disaster Girl. The Disaster Girl will stay in the cage and Lucille will live outside with Isao. Isao agrees with her while thinking of a way to release Disaster Girl later. As for the second condition, she wakes up Disaster Girl and tells her to watch closely. Lucille kisses Isao. A deep kiss on that. Seeing that happening right in front of her eyes, something inside her hurt. Lucille is so happy to taste Isao's violet lavender flavored toothpaste. Isao is spraying some spray, but her cells have already permanently taken root inside his body. On the other hand, Disaster Girl is experiencing something. Her chest is hurting. Lucille's cells, which are inside Disaster Girl, start to get burned by some strong flame. Lucille is shocked, thinking what is going on there. The virus from her body also dissipates. She then grabs Lucille by her neck, and her hand have also changed. Isao and Rat are shocked to see the left hand of the Ash Angel being manifested. With a cold expression, Disaster Girl only says 2 words, "I hate." Then she burns Lucille with her strong flame.